life of a soldier is always valuable, whether in the fields of fighting or different circumstances. I hope we finish this before I make my exit, na malagyan kayo ng isang GSIS for your mga lahat na, retirement and everything. And you have your own bank. Ang ano lang ito is I will sell a part of Bonifacio. Tutang sundalo naman kaya. You can always go to the mountains to find the place where you can renta namin yung a part of Bonifacio to raise the money so that you can have that you leave behind will have the same privileges. And importante niyan ang eskwela, which we have set up a foundation for that to see them through to college. Pagkaabot naman ng kurso sa kolehiyo. And this I promise you, soldier.
President Duterte visits and confers honors on the soldiers who were killed and wounded in the military plane crash in Sulu. More evacuees are getting sick as the Taal volcano continues to release sulfur dioxide. Education Secretary Briones demands a public apology from the World Bank following its report on poor learning results among Filipino students. And just this morning, fire hits SM Cubao in Quezon City. And the Philippine Red Cross makes mobile vaccination possible with its bakuna bus. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. President Rodrigo Duterte paid his respects to the soldiers who died following the recent military plane crash in Sulu. Speaking at the AFP Western Mindanao Command Gymnasium in Zamboanga City, Duterte said he's going through a process of mourning for the fallen soldiers. The chief executive says he is grateful for their service and vowed to not let their deaths be in vain.
They died for our country. And for that, I am very grateful. The best that we can really do, and the most important thing is that itong namatay, that they shall not have died in vain. They died for our country, and it behooves upon us to continue the help. And they were alive as they are now in heaven.
Duterte also promised to extend aid to the families left behind by the soldiers who died in the line of duty. He said the best way to honor the memory of the fallen is to make sure that their families live comfortable lives and their children get to finish their education.
Gusto ko lang maiwan. Bago ako maiwan, gusto kong maglagay ng malaking pera para sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. Yan lang ang mabawi ko sa sundalo, lalo na yung namatay. That their families will be protected, that their families will be comfortable, at yung daily living and education of the children will be assured.
While the C-130 plane crash was tragic, it wasn't the first time an aircraft of this model met an untimely end in the Philippines. Mobile journalist Stanley Gahete gives us a front seat to the story.
This may be the worst military accident in Philippine history after a C-130 went down in a residential area in Paticol, Sulu. There are 92 soldiers, pilot and crew on board the plane, which took off from Cagayan de Oro to ferry troops for deployment in the troubled southern island. The Philippines has only 5 C-130, all acquired from the United States under a military aid program. One of the aircrafts was transferred by the United States only this year under the Excess Defense Articles and Foreign Military Sales Program. But 2 are undergoing repair and maintenance, and 3 are used to transport medical supplies and equipment since the coronavirus outbreak last year. In fact, I was on board a C-130 plane on the Philippine Air Force last May 21 on my way to Marawi for the commemoration of the 4th anniversary of the siege. This is how a C-130 looks from inside. It's large and it's very cold here. As you can see, this huge cargo plane is perfect for airlifting medical supplies from Manila to different parts of the country. It was also used for rapid deployment of troops, logistics run, and for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief like during the Typhoon Yolanda. This is the second time a C-130 had crashed. More than a decade ago, a similar plane crashed in Bicol while delivering relief goods to typhoon-struck areas. The crash also came less than 2 weeks after a newly acquired S-701 Black Hawk utility helicopter went down during a night flight training near Capas, Tarlac. 6 pilots and crew members died in the accident. The C-130 accident happened also a day before the Philippines and Japan embarked for the first time on a 4-day air-to-air exercise in Clark. The Japanese Air Defense Self-Defense Forces will send a C-130 and some personnel to show its Philippines counterpart how to load and unload cargo and airdrop relief suppliers to a disaster area. It is uncertain how the crash would affect the air-to-air exercise with Japan. I am Stanley Gahete, and we are One News.
More evacuees in Batangas are getting sick as Taal Volcano continues emitting sulfur dioxide. With symptoms being similar to COVID-19, health authorities renewed their push to get evacuees inoculated. Romel Lopez with the story.
Plumes have been visible all day as Taal Volcano's continuous degassing has reached its peak. Facebook says that the volcano now emits more than 22,600 tons of sulfur dioxide on a daily average. 26 volcanic tremors, meanwhile, have been recorded, which signifies magmatic unrest.
Namomonitor natin, ibig sabihin, active pa talaga yung, nag-indicate pa rin talaga ng magma movement sa Taal Volcano.
Because of this, many evacuees from Laurel, Batangas are now suffering from cough, colds, and fever. One evacuee, Simyana Gahan, sought the help of the health workers to tend to her 6-year-old grandson.
Pero hindi po namin talaga ginusto kami dito tumigil. Ano nahihirapan din po kami. Hindi po namin ginusto lahat ng kami narito dahil ano ako natatakot po namin talaga COVID. Dahil po siya talagang pinagbabalita ang COVID. Nakakatakot din po yun dahil mga bata.
The problem is, even the health workers are not sure if these cases are common sickness or COVID-19 because of the similarities of symptoms. For now, physical distancing and other minimum health protocols are being enforced in evacuation centers. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III visited Agoncillo this morning to bring medical supplies like antigen kits and 3,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Duque also led the inoculation of evacuees.
Itong ating bakunahan dito sa mga evacuation center ay magandang pamamaraan upang maiwasan ang pagkalat, ang posibleng pagkalat ng COVID-19 infection. Although dito naman sa bayan ng Agoncillo ay napakamababa po ng COVID-19 incidence.
Agoncillo Mayor Daniel Reyes was inoculated to encourage constituents to get shots as well. 133 signed up for COVID inoculation in Agoncillo, while only 27 people registered in Laurel. Duque urged local officials to intensify their information drives in order to curb vaccination hesitancy. For News 5, Romel Lopez, we are One News.
Time now for some weather updates. Tropical Depression Emong continues to slow down as it moves towards the southern tip of Taiwan. Despite this, it continues to bring strong winds over the extreme northern Luzon. And as a result, Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 1 remains hoisted over Batanes. TD Emong was last spotted this morning at 165 kilometers northwest of Itbayat, Batanes. It is also expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility anytime this morning. In other news, Education Secretary Briones is seeking a public apology from the World Bank. This as the World Bank released a report stating that the majority of Filipino students do not meet expected learning standards. The World Bank had initially reported that 80% of Filipino students do not meet learning standards for their grade levels. That's on top of describing a crisis in Philippine education which started even before the pandemic. But during the recent Laging Handa briefing, Briones slammed the World Bank's findings and said that the global lender based its report on old data. The secretary also called out the organization for failing to inform the Deped of its report.
The country was insulted, was shamed, and so on. We expect and look forward to a public apology. Lalo na yung di pagsabi sa amin na naglabas sila ng ganong klaseng datos na lumang-luma na datos. Kung mag-report ka about a country, kailangan malaman ng country na yon kung anong sasabihin ninyo, kailangan nila ipalabas. Walang kasabi-sabi, inunas ng media. So malaking kakulangan ito.
Fire razed a portion of SM Cubao in Quezon City earlier at around 4 o'clock this morning. The blaze was immediately raised to first alarm as firefighters struggled with opening the steel gates of the mall. They eventually managed to position their hoses, and the fire was declared under control at around 4:40 a.m. and completely out just a few minutes later. For now, they're using exhaust fans to expel the smoke from the department store, where the raised stall was located. Investigations are still ongoing as to what caused the fire. Philippine Red Cross has launched its bakuna buses in Metro Manila and Cebu. This as its chairman continued to express his dissatisfaction with the pace of vaccinations in the country. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
The Philippine Red Cross has rolled out 5 bakuna buses, 3 in Metro Manila and 2 in Metro Cebu. The buses first traveled to industrial complexes in Marikina City and urban poor communities in Mandaluyong City last week. Its goal is to bring the vaccines closer to those classified as A5 or those living below the poverty line.
Hindi nila kailangan umabsent kasi tinatapat natin sa araw na pahinga po nila. Hindi nila kailangan mamasahe.
The Red Cross partnered with Ube Express of the Bertlina group of companies for these mobile clinics. They're equipped with vaccine cabinets and refrigerators to ensure proper handling.
Behind me, as you can see, the vaccination is still ongoing, so the bus can inoculate 4 individuals per batch. So today, the Philippine Red Cross's target is to inoculate 500 individuals here in Mandaluyong City.
On its first day, the bus inoculated 492 individuals. The event in Mandaluyong was raised by City Mayor Menchi Avalos, who says the buses help in combating vaccine hesitancy.
Gusto na rin nila talagang mabakunahan. Kahit anong brand pa yan, basta mabakunahan sila.
Meanwhile, PRC Chairman and Senator Richard Gordon says he's dismayed by the pace of vaccinations nationwide.
We've only vaccinated about 2,570,000. At that rate, we can finish perhaps by 2023. Hindi natin matatapos yung 2022 deadline.
Gordon also complained about not having gotten any share in the first shipment of Moderna vaccines.
Kasama na kami, dapat dumating na dito, pero nabigyan na sa local government, wala pa yung sa Red Cross. Sayang naman yung 1,000 vaccinators waiting on the wings to come out.
This week, the bakuna bus is traveling to Navotas to target fishermen and their families. I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.